Everybody, welcome to the blog today. Um, I saw this headline and I had to read through it. And of course, all these things started flowing as I read through it. But the headline that caught my attention was Scammers Dupe Texas School District out of 2.3 million. And of course, I clicked on it because I live in Texas and I wanted to see if it was my school district because I've been trying to talk to my school district about their cybersecurity posture, but I've gotten nowhere. No one wants to hear about it. School districts, academia is still lagging behind and they don't understand some of the challenges, real threats out there that are targeting them specifically. But what this was, as I read the article, and I'll link it, of course, in the bottom of the and in the note section. It's what they're calling vendor email compromise, which is really interesting. I think that in cybersecurity we like to rebrand stuff, and it's just fraud. I mean, it's a scam. So basically, the head it says Texas School District, Manor Independent School District in Austin, was scammed out of 2.3 million by sending three transactions before discovering it was a fraudulent bank account that they were sending these transactions to. Evidently, account information had been changed, and that's essentially what the information that's been out there from the Manor School District as well as the police that, and they're working with the FBI, and that's pretty much all you have that they're admitting to. So you kind of start trying to figure out, or you try to guess at how this type of activity happens. Of course, you have the business email compromise, which is a fraudulent scheme as well. And this is vendor email compromise. And one of the ways it could happen is that an attacker could target somebody that's in billing and payments. You can easily find out who that is just by doing a quick LinkedIn search of your target company. You want to find out who's in billing or payments. They post that stuff on LinkedIn all the time. Accounts payable, receivable, all of that stuff is out there. So if you pick a company, and I'm not going to tell you how to do a crime, but hopefully most of you that watch this blog are white hats that are on the good side of the house. I mean, don't use your powers for bad. But in any event, LinkedIn, you can easily find out who is the person that's has some touch or can touch on billings and payments in any organization, really. Um, and essentially, they can send them a phishing email using Office 365 or OneNote or DocuSign or any type of business application can be used to now try to steal credentials, right? So they'll send them a phishing email, see if they click on a link, see if they'll go to a site that looks realistic and they'll put their credentials in, and there you have it. And then the attackers will then now start to forward or auto forward or redirect messages from that individual, and it's basically they're getting a copy of all the information that individual has getting in regards to billing and payments. They do this to try to get to learn the organization's recognizance, right? It's trying to figure out, how do I now insert myself in this particular process so I can get what I want, which is the money, right? So by sending them the credentials, and now by getting those email accounts, they know who their vendors are, they know how they pay their vendors, net 30, net 45. So they kind of know, what the process is. Again, these compromises, business email compromises and this vendor email compromise, these are not technical attacks. These are attacks against people and process more so than they are an attack on technology, right? So the VEC is a combination of stealing credentials and impersonation, right? So you're actually trying to impersonate the person. You get in there, you figure out what the payment is, and then you subtly change the bank information, right? How many people are actually paying attention? How many people, when they pay their vendors, are actually paying attention to the bank account information that they're sending that information to? And if it's been changed, how many people are actually paying attention to that, right? And it's a really simple attack. So here's a couple of things from a technology perspective. So technology is not going to be a way to stop this type of fraud, because we're and the reason why this type of fraud is on the rise is because it is so simple, right? And we are now attacking the process, the people, the person, and the process of getting making payments, right? More so than we are attacking the network to try to brute force or steal credentials to try to get access, to cause a problem and put ransomware and all that other stuff in there. If your goal is to make money and make money fast, how business email compromise and vendor email compromise are very simple. Figure out how to change the bank account information, or figure out how to get somebody to send you some money, impersonating the CEO. These are not technical schemes. And in addition to that, you can't even require that your security operations center or your incident defense or your cyber defenders or incident response people see this type of activity. Normally, they do not see, from my past experience. Normally, from a payment processor, that's usually email, vendor. Um, the vendor process and being in how to pay a vendor or whatever is usually handled in finance somewhere, in accounting somewhere, and so they, unless those systems are actually being monitored for fraudulent activity in the security operations center, your normal information security analyst is not going to see that activity in their SOC. And so it's not something that technology that you're going to be able to stop. It's by technology in regards to being able to prevent this from happening. It is a people and process issue. And so it becomes a question of how in the world do you stop it? And of course, it's all about education and awareness, right? And you guys will hear me talk about that all the time. The person behind the computer that makes a decision that this is going to happen, or if it's even automated. If it's automated, you probably wouldn't guess. It would be interesting to see if any information comes out about how they figured this out. If it was essentially just the vendor said, I didn't get paid, you didn't pay me, you paid somebody, but it wasn't me. And that's usually how you get, a clue at that this is happening, because it's like, okay, I was expecting $2.3 million and I didn't get that $2.3 million. And the school district's like, well, he sent it. Well, who did you send it to? And it's like, oh, stuffing. Who did we send that money to? And now you have to go back and see where in the world, what happened to actually find out where on the chain did this go wrong. And it's an investigation. I know that the school district and the FBI and the police and everyone's asking for anybody that has any information on this scheme. But honestly and truly, it's going to be hard pressed, especially if the school district doesn't have any type of log information that you can investigate exactly what happened. We're only guessing at what could have possibly happened to be able to get that money back. It's very, very hard, as putting on my investigator's hat, to follow breadcrumbs if there are no crumbs. So the question I have, for you guys is, how much security awareness training do you actually give your individuals that are in finance and billing and payments? Are you actually carving them out, since they are under attack, to be able to identify these things? This calls for specialized training for the individuals that are in charge of payment processing or vendor payments or whatever, that have the hands on the purse strings. Specialized training so they can be able to identify exactly what they should be looking out for and what they should give them cause to pause, right? And so just like under business email compromises, you have to look at the CEO and all of the people that support that person, whether secretaries, the CFO, their admins, everybody that's involved in that process needs specialized training, because essentially they are under attack. And if you only are going to give them that annual awareness training and not make it specific to what they could potentially see, you're doing your company a disservice. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. Always exciting to talk about something that's happening in my home state. Hopefully my school district won't lose $2.3 million. I'm going to have a problem with that. All right, guys, have a good day. was the last time you've given in-person security awareness training to your employees? Nothing against the annual computer-based training that many organizations provide. Oftentimes, the difference between a computer-based training and an in-person training is that the actual employees can ask questions, and it makes it more meaningful to them in their day-to-day activities. So if you're interested in learning more about the trainings that the Cybersecurity of Law Firm of Texas provides, please reach out to us. All right. Random thought for today. I saw another headline that I thought was funny and interesting. It says privacy experts warn that Alexa should be banned from the bedroom. Yes, keep the Alexa speaker out of your bedroom. Now, in previous blog posts, you could do a search on my website. I talked about the fact that Apple as well as Amazon were getting into a little trouble from a privacy perspective because they were recording snippets of conversations before and after, or maybe even, you know, falsely triggered, hey, Siri. Now, if I say, hey, Siri, she's going to come on. Okay, she did. Okay, but if you say that, and even if you get close to that, sometimes it'll turn on and it'll start recording information. And they were recording snippets and they had employees listening to those snippets to determine whether they said was for to see if their search features were working right, whatever, what have you. But what's intriguing is where you place those individual devices could have repercussions. I mean, I've seen some things, and some things have come across my desk personally that lead you to believe that the employees that are listening in on these snippets are acting on some of the information they glean from that, even if they're just you know, talking to each other on instant messenger in house. We saw that, laughing at the certain recordings, but they are listening. The human nature is to listen into that, and so there are particular places, especially if you don't want the technology listening, that you shouldn't even have your device. I wouldn't have I know I don't have that speaker. I am an Apple person, so I do have more than one Apple device, and if I say, "Hey Siri," all of them respond. But in any event, I you there are places that you just don't want things listening. And the bedroom and the bathroom may be two places that you may want to keep those devices out of. Just my 2 cents for today. Have a great day. Bye bye. Thanks again for listening to the Breach Whisperer blog, sponsored by the Cybersecurity Law Firm of Texas. Don't forget to like this post and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates of when we post new things on our channel. In addition, spread the word for me, right? Let's get out there and tell a friend, and so they can all become paranoid cybersecurity and privacy people. Don't forget, if you would like to connect with me on socials, you can connect with me on Twitter. At Mary N. Cheney, use my middle initial always. For my nonprofit, Minorities in Cybersecurity, that is at Mike Leadership, and Instagram and Facebook at MN Cheney Law. And you can find me on LinkedIn just by searching for my name. So if you're interested, connect with me. Thanks again. And just remember, awareness equals knowledge.